Switch to Spectrum and get our best deal ever on TV, internet, and more.
So are you just finishing up?
Yeah. You're done?
Yeah, that was a lot of dishes.
Wow, I can't believe you're done. I thought for sure I'd be done way before you.
No, that's a lot of work doing all the watering by yourself. I'm doing this for Gary.
Oh, okay.
The laborious task of watering the garden. She likes the watering can, I use the hose.
Yes. Don't trip.
Hey, you want to do our dancing after this?
No.
Ha ha ha.
We did our dancing. We're done.
Okay, so walk around. Those are my little propagating tomatoes, or propagated. Those are some baby marigolds. Those are beans, either black pinto or kidney. I don't know what, I don't remember. These are the cucumbers that aren't doing as well as the other side, and I still don't know why, but they're a little more anemic than the other side. But as you can see, we've just picked about 4 of them. 5 of them off both sides. And he's hanging out there. They're very friendly with the beans. This is a little lettuce plant that popped up from last year. I had to transplant it away from the beans because the beans were just killing the sun for it and killing it. These are beans. We have pinto beans, we have black beans, and we have a row of kidney beans. So as you can see, they all have beans on them, and you just leave them there until the husks dry out, and then you pull the beans out of the husks. This is a row of soybeans. It's hard to delineate, but here's a row of Great Northern beans. You can see the flowers. The soybeans have not flowered yet because I did have some poor planting, but I have green beans, 5 green bean plants in there. And then the green beans grow from underneath over the top, as you can see, and that's kind of the way I planned it. And they do share this side with the other cucumbers, and they are different cucumbers on both sides. These have like a pickling cucumber, and they have what's called a straight 8 cucumber. As you can see, that's a straight 8 right there. But I just picked like 3 of them recently. I don't think I have a pickling. That might be a pickling, but they get really fat and they're really juicy. So obviously we don't use them for pickling. Now, let's move over to the tomato bed, which is of course everybody's favorite, right? These are the cherry tomatoes. As you can see, I really let them grow. And there are a ton of them. We've already picked the ones off of the bottom because they've already turned. But I'm really letting them come up. Let me back up so you can really see. Now these first 2 plants, it's kind of hard to distinguish between them, but you can see the 2 cages. These first 2 plants are cherry tomatoes. As you can see, we have those. Now I have
Time to sit.
what we have to say is an unknown. I don't know what kind of tomatoes these are.
Hi Gary, are you enjoying the tour? Are you enjoying the tour?
Because they were marked as Roma tomatoes, but as you can see, those are not Roma. But they kind of look like some kind of a large cherry tomato, and maybe they're you know, like the Husky cherry tomatoes that I put in. Now, these are big beef tomatoes, and I think everybody knows what those are. These are Amish paste, and those are like kind of mushy inside, so I guess that's why they use them for paste, but they're still good to eat. And then this is what's called a bushy early girl. So I tried to put in several different ones just to kind of see which ones grew the best and which ones tasted the best. And of course, cherry tomatoes, hands down, are probably the easiest to grow and the best tasting. So now we come down to the end of the tomato bed, and we have this lonely little banana pepper plant that we picked up at a grocery store for like $2.50, something like that. And as you can see, the pollinating has just done wonders. I think there are 7 peppers on this tiny little plant. So the pollination has just made an incredible difference. This is a row of flowers that I just kind of mixed up some seeds and kind of threw them in. I know the ones are marigolds. I don't know what that one is, but I guess we'll find out when they bloom. These are, I got 6 what's called Husky cherry tomato plants. So I'm curious to see if those look like the unknown that I have, you know, down the road. And I've got 6 of those. I've got 2 of them here. And there's the other one. And then this is the bushy girl, and they get pretty big. The interesting thing about this bushy girl is most of the time, I came out here one day and I could not find what's called the apical meristem, which is the growth of the plant, like the main stem of the plant, and it stopped here. And I thought, I have never seen that happen in a tomato plant. Then I come to find out that the stem actually started, I don't know if you can see this, the stem actually started growing out of the vine of the tomatoes. I've never seen that before. This is your Amish paste. And then this is your big beef. You have to plant on the other side. All right, so, oh, I forgot. Little Mr. Marigold. Marigold was planted over by the dill, and the dill was just blocking the sun out. It got so big. So, that's the tomato bed. Now, let's go over to, whoops. That is the zucchini. It is amazingly large. She just picked 2 zucchinis off. I don't know if we've got any zucchinis growing, but as you can see, this is growing right down into the rocks. And you can see the structure. It's really healthy. It's got some new leaves there. You can see that. I don't think we've had a female come out since the last 2 big ones that we took off. This is some kale. I know there are 2 different kinds. I could not tell you one from another, but that's a kale plant that grows really well. As you can see behind the zucchini, we have some really good basil plants, and they're flowering. So pretty soon the ground's going to be covered with basil plants because all the seeds fall down to the ground and then they start on their own. And basil, from what I've seen, seems to grow like a weed. Now the huge plant behind it is a dill, and she just cut a bunch of dill off to make sauerkraut, but this one is actually flowering. Now down here we have the peas, and I think we have 5 pea plants, and we have picked all the peas off of them, so I cut all the tops and trying to get some collateral growth, as you see there, so we get another vine growing, as you can see there, and then maybe we'll get some more peas before it gets too hot for them. So those are the peas. Now over here we've got another kale plant. These are all green beans. Some are bush, some are vine. I think the bushes are, they're here at the bottom here. That's a vine, and the vines seem to produce a lot more green beans than the bush, but the bush creates them or grows them faster. Now let's step over here, and this is kind of a hodgepodge of beans, black kidney, pinto. I just went kind of crazy. I wanted to see a lot of green. I wanted to see how plants developed and how they grew. I didn't want to just look at them on the internet. So I just put rows of plants. These are chickpeas, garbanzo beans. And I just took them out of a, grocery shelf bag of chickpeas and just planted them in. Now these had to be transplanted because I had them in the bean bed that you saw, the bean cucumber bed, so they had to be transplanted because they were, again, I did not plan these things out. I just kind of threw them in there. These are black-eyed peas. I think Tina said that the chickpeas were starting to flower. Yeah, okay. We've waited a while. They've taken hold and you can see the flowers. So pretty soon we'll be able to see some chickpea pods, and they have like 2 chickpeas per pod. So again, this is black-eyed peas. You can see that there. I'm curious to see how those come out. These are some cucumber plants that weren't doing very well in the other bed because they were getting boxed out. So I transplanted them over here and just seeing if they're going to take hold. This is spaghetti squash. We have 2 plants here. I think we just got a female, but it's not open yet. As you can see there, that's the female. We're waiting for that to open. This is a little watermelon fella. And he popped up over by the green beans. And that's from last year, obviously. So I just took that and transplanted it and see what would happen. Now, these are the other 4 husky cherry tomato plants, and they're doing quite well. So I'm really excited to see what those taste like. And again, the pollination that I do has done an amazing job for the yield. Now, this little bush of tomatoes, long before I put any of these things in this bed, I took a tomato that was over-ripened that we got from the store, cut it into quarters, and then I put 4 of the quarters. I planted 4 of the quarters in a line here, but only one of them came up, and it was long after I decided they weren't going to come up, and I planted the tomato plants. So you can see now I'm going to have to pull those out and separate them. There's quite a few of them, but that's like a quarter of a tomato. Now this is the thing I'm so most amazed from. These I took sucker shoots off the tomato plant and then propagated them in water, and these 2 plants I stuck in the ground, and these are cherry tomatoes, and they just took off. So I've got those there too. Now I've got 2 beds left. Let me walk down here. Now, let's start at this end. Now, these are sunflowers that Tina put in. And as you can see, some of them are way up there. And they're about to flower. They didn't come close to this last year. This is her morning glory wall over here. You can see how beautiful those are. And the morning glories are growing over to the green beans. And I thought it would be nice if they kind of grew over and then grew down, just to see what that would look like. This is all kale. Tina pulls it and puts it in salads and stuff. Grows really well here. Now these are the other two spaghetti squash plants. These, all four of them were started from seed. She started them from seed, and they were all planted at the same time. But this one started growing much faster than the other. We got our first female, and Tina pollinated it, and there is your squash. Now we're going to wait and see how big that gets. So as you can see, it's more of a multiple vine plant than the zucchini squash, which I didn't know. I'd never seen spaghetti squash grow. We had several females on this, as I showed on that one vine on the other side, and then we had one over here, got one there, and then we have another one right there. But since it's on the same vine, probably only one of them will take and start developing. Hopefully at least one of them will. Now this is a remnant from last year. Tina said that it's blackberries. I've never seen blackberries grow like that, but it certainly could be. I've never seen raspberries grow, but I know she had raspberries too. So we're gonna see what comes of that. These are just bulb flowers. We don't know what they were. She had them planted over against the fence, so we kind of moved them. And then on this side of the box, these are all bell peppers. We got red and yellow bell peppers, and I've been pollinating them also, and you pollinate them like you pollinate tomatoes. So as you can see, we're having no issue getting bell peppers. Now the real issue is going to be how big they get, because last year they probably got about a quarter to a third the size that they should have gotten. And as you can see, bell pepper, bell pepper, bell pepper, and there's a good healthy bell pepper. So those are all the bell peppers, and we're excited about that. I put those in because red and yellow are quite expensive in the store compared to green. So that's the bell pepper and slash zucchini, or I'm sorry, slash spaghetti squash bed. Now this is the bed that was supposed to encourage the bees. This is the flower bed. This is Tina's bed. This is what she put in. As you can see, the morning glories really went crazy. They're on a trellis, but as you can see, it's very heavy. I had to put a brace board at the bottom, or it would have pulled it right out of the ground. We don't know what kind of flower that is yet. We haven't identified it, but she had a packet of mixed seeds that she planted down in there, and that flower came up. I'm assuming that's some kind of a daisy. She wasn't sure about these. And some of the flowers haven't opened. This is our gardenia plant that we had from last year that wasn't doing anything. But as you can see, we did finally get a flower, and it was really pretty. We got morning glories, just obviously grow like a weed. So this is the flower bed. And this sunflower found its way over here. We don't know how. She did not plant that. So that is the flower bed. And if I back up here, maybe you can see the whole thing. Our garden. Now, one more thing. I have this little section over by the house that doesn't get much sun, so I thought, well, probably the best thing to put in there is something that doesn't need much sun. So I put in some fern bulbs, and one of them came up, but the rest didn't. I did plant some caladiums, and they are all starting to come up. You can see that one there, and that one. And if you know anything about caladiums, which I'm sure you do, they will just start multiplying. So they're starting to come up. Got those on clearance for like, I think it was like $1 a bag, something like that. that's about it. I hope you enjoyed the video. See you later. Have fun.